YouTubers, your old buddy Platt, and today we're continuing our tour of the great wine growing regions of the world. Today we're stopping at Germany. Germany produces roughly 9 million hectoliters annually, which puts it around 8th in the world in total production. 2/3 of that production is white wine. The predominant white wine grape is Reisling. They make fairly aromatic wines with it. The reason why white wine's the more popular grape in Germany we'll go over later, but there's a reason for that. Germany utilizes about 1/10 of the acreage its neighbors Spain, France, and Italy do. We discussed with Spain that it was #1 in wine acreage, but 3rd in production because they didn't optimize their acreage. Germany actually does a fairly good job of optimizing their acreage, which makes sense in a very technical engineering country. Germany is home to 13 major wine growing regions. Two of the more popular ones are the Rheingau and Mosel. A majority of these wine growing regions are in the west and southwest. There are a couple of random ones in the east, but for the most part, German wine production is in the west and southwest. And part of the reason that is Germany is probably the northernmost country that's a major producer of wine in the world. Most of Germany, and especially the wine growing regions, hover around the 50th parallel, so it's fairly high up north. And because of this, a lot of the German wine producers will have their vineyards near rivers. When we discussed in our discussion of the Loire Valley, how a lot of the vineyards were near the rivers because these rivers help produce a microclimate. The rivers will sometimes hold an extra degree or two of temperature and just a little bit of extra heat to make those vineyards viable, or if they're a little further in from those rivers, it just would not work. Also, something in the favor of the German wine producers is they have a soil high in slate or slate based, and that slate soil really holds the daytime heat in, and again helps them to get a little extra out of their growing season. Again, we're normally along that parallel, they wouldn't have enough heat. Between the rivers and the soil, they get just a little extra out, and that's why they use white wine grapes. White wine grapes tend to do a little better in cooler climates, and so again, Germany has to work with what they got, and so they stick with white wines, especially the Riesling grape is real good in cooler climates. As I referred to, 2/3 is white wine, but there is some red wine production in Germany. Probably the most popular wine is something referred to as Spätburgunder, and it is actually German for Pinot Noir. Here in the U.S., we don't see a lot of it, but they actually do produce a decent amount or decent quality Pinot Noir. Most of it is consumed there domestically, but if you see a bottle in your liquor store, give it a try. Like I said, they are of solid quality wines. Germany, like the rest of its EU brethren, does fall into the EU labeling of wines and the tiered system. Like the other countries, though, they get to kind of tweak their system within the EU system. Unlike the other ones, Germany makes it really complicated. The labels kind of be hard to read. Sometimes they'll put things in reverse instead of like France, where the label's really going to push the smallest level or the lowest level AOC, that Chateau level. It's going to, Chateau Margaux, Chateau Lafite, right? Germany, sometimes they flip that around and makes the reading confusing. But what I want to concentrate here on is their quality wine level, or something they refer to as Produktkatwine. And that's their quality wine level. In Germany, again, because their growing seasons are short, they have to do all they can to get a fully matured grape. What they're looking for is how much sugar do we have in that grape, how much alcohol potential is in that grape. That's kind of how they grade them. And they use a 6-tiered system. The first tier is called cabinet level wine, cabinet with a K. That meets minimum requirements for sugar and alcohol potential. Next, they have Spätlese, which means late harvest. They leave that grape on, they try to get a little extra sugar, a little more maturity on that. Third is Auslese, which is select harvest. Now we're keeping it all a little bit longer. We're only picking the best berries. Again, we're moving up the scale as far as sugar and alcohol potential. Then we have Barren Auslese, which refers to berry selection. Again, we're picking the best grapes we can. We're also, at this point, there's some introduction of botrytis. If you know, botrytis is also noble rot. That'll tend to shrivel up the grape, dehydrate it, concentrate the sugars. Next, we have Trockenbeerenslate, which is dry berry selection. These grapes tend to be more raisin-like. We're dehydrating them. They're losing water. They're keeping the sugar. Again, we're moving up the alcohol scale. And finally, their top level is ice wine, which, as we know, is grapes left on the vine, allowed to freeze. That water turns to ice, and then we squeeze what's left. That juice is really highly concentrated as sugar, and thus they can hit higher alcohol levels. The last two, Trockenbeerenslate and ice wine, those are more considered dessert wines, and the first four levels are more general consumption wine, something you'd have with dinner, something you would have, you know, on the back patio, what have you. Those last two, like the dessert wines. Speaking of wine, today we're going to try a German wine, St. Gabriel Reisling. It is a Spätlese, which was the second level or late harvest. It is from the Mosel region of Germany, and it comes in at 9.0% alcohol by volume. And if you notice the other videos we've done with different wines, that's fairly low for wines. Now we're getting into strong beer territory, less wines, which are 11, 12, 13 and up. Let's give her a try. Alright, one thing I automatically notice, fairly light color. Very kind of straw-like, really light. Let's give her a nose. Alright, solid nose. Kind of reminds me of almost some New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs for some reason. It's fairly aromatic though. Let's give her a try. This is a fairly sweet selection. Germany, with the with Rieslings in general, not just German Riesling, you can go from fairly dry to fairly sweet, but because sweetness is what they desire, well, a lot of times the winemaker will push more to that sweet end than they're willing to do a dry Riesling, even though a dry Riesling might, again, be done in an excellent fashion. Because of their desire for sweetness, most of the time you'll see these wines swing that way, and this is a sweet. Get almost a hint of apple in this one. A little bit of honeysuckle-ish. Overall, nice wine, fairly simple. Get just the slight hint of acid on the side, but not much. Overall, nice little sipper. I would definitely pair this with, probably because it's lower in alcohol, you could probably pair this with, you know, spicier dishes. The sweetness would definitely balance it out, and because again it's not outrageous in alcohol, you don't have to worry about that if you got something real hot. Overall, decent little wine. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like down below. That helps the videos get seen a little bit more, so please hit that like button. And also, please hit that subscribe button, because there's more content like this on the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always leave them in the comment section, or you can contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.